So before I even jump on into this video, I want to ask all of you that are watching this video, what kind of market do you think that we are in? Bull or bear market? Now, again, I just want to ask you guys this. I'm not going to lie to you. This market right now sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everything's all good. No, this market is garbage right now. And we are seeing multiple major losses across the board. And the portfolio, let's just say I haven't even taken a look at it because I know that it is not good. But is there any sign of relief going forward for this market? And I just want to say there is. And we're going to address it in this video. We're going to talk about quite a bit about what's happening as well. So sit back, relax. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Now, there was one response, and it's actually from my good friend Tokenizer in the market, and he did say a manipulation market. And I have to say this actually kind of speaks volumes, because right now, as we really look at this space, it has been a roughly almost 3 months now. Most of the altcoin market has not moved since roughly the beginning of December. Bitcoin's trading at about $92,000, and $92,000 today is like the equivalent of like $30,000 to $40,000 back in 2021. And if you know, you know. But what's crazy about this is look at the double-digit figures across the board in terms of losses. I mean, it is a rough world out there in crypto, and this is just the top 100. So if just for reference, right, if this is what we're seeing across the board for the top 100, the most liquid altcoins in the space, you could probably guess what's happening outside of the top 100. But while Bitcoin is, taking this massive leap to the downside, the big problem, and this is where, altcoin holders really kind of get hit the hardest, Bitcoin dominance is breaking out. This is on the 3-day. I didn't even show you guys the weekly, which looks like this. And if we do close this weekly candle above these previous, candle bodies here, let's just say it's not going to be pretty for altcoins. We're still waiting for this thing to sell off, and it almost feels like it's been forever. I mean, this is what the 1 month looks like on Bitcoin dominance. I mean, it's just an up-only path. I know that there's some months in there where it was red, but for the most part, we haven't really, witnessed a massive sell-off. Look at the 3-month. The last red candle on the 3-month chart for Bitcoin dominance was back in July of 2023. So we are still waiting for the actual alt season of this market to really kind of start. And a lot of people actually believe that alt season isn't going to happen, which is technically a good thing. But what's crazy about this is, how long we have been waiting for any solid price action. Even though, yeah, there's still some great gains across the board when we look at altcoins like XRP trading at $2.30. And you might say, well, Nick, you're crazy if you think $2.30 is bullish. It's not that I think it's bullish. It's the fact that I think that this is still very good compared to the lows that we have, been, well, I should just say that we were buying, right? Because we were buying these lows. But we were so used to seeing XRP doing absolutely nothing back here. And after we saw a big move to the upside, we were like, all right, well, this is never going to stop, right? But that's the problem. We get stuck in that mentality that like, all right, well, we're just going to see up only. So then when things start to sell off, we panic. Now, obviously, it's not all of us because there's a lot of us that have been around for a while, and we understand that what goes up must come down. And it's not the fact that like, we're seeing a bear market begin. I don't believe that we are in a bear market. That's my opinion, of course. You guys can do whatever you want. But I just feel as if we are starting to get manipulated quite a bit. This is where most of the manipulation actually happens in the space, where we do start to kind of see the shift from Bitcoin to altcoins. When we look at the top 500 in the last 7 days, there is still gains across the board. But if we look at the red, it is a sea of it. Even if we look at the crypto altcoin season index, we are now in Bitcoin season for the first time in well over 90 plus days. And the green is starting to dry up. These are the top 100 coins, and this is the performance over the last 90 days. Now, Hedera just recently launched, so we could just kind of wipe that one off the board. And then outside of that, we also have Hype up 514%. I believe that this is actually a recent launch as well. If we look at the all-time chart, yeah, I mean, this thing launched back in November, so obviously it's going to be still in the green. Outside of that, there is some still nice gains here, like 100% plus, but you got to remember that this is over the 3-month period in crypto. And the gains quickly start dropping off down into like the 60%, 40%, 30%. And again, this is over the last 3 months in the top 100. Outside of that, we could see the sea of red. So this market sucks. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. It sucks. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that, oh, everything's going to be fine and everything's all good. No, I'm just saying, like, right now, this market is absolutely horrible to deal with. But if we look at what was really kind of causing this, we saw Binance selling off. We saw a lot of exchanges actually selling off, some pretty large positions to Wintermute. Now, again, a lot of those sells are to actually back trades as well for the actual platform. It's to bring liquidity to the actual platform, provide, some reserves as well. So, is this full on selling? It definitely is sell pressure, but it's also to really kind of support the exchange itself. But regardless of that, a lot of people were kind of speculating on the fact that this was going to lead to a massive crash, which, I mean, technically speaking, we did see the crash. Bitcoin did wipe out a significant amount today in the last 24 hours, up, almost 4%, which is also kind of similar to the price move from the Bybit hack. And if we actually look the last 7 days, we're down about 4.10%. Last month, we're down about almost 12%. Last year, we're still kind of up. But, for the most part, this is definitely some rough price action. But outside of that, we also have over here from On-Chain College, which, by the way, this is something that we should keep a close eye on, which is the short-term holder cost basis. Now, this is actually under the cost basis for the first time since October of 2024, which we do know what happened next. Now, he did say that if you believe that the bull market or the bull run is still intact, my personal view, then this is an opportunity zone. And I do agree. I think that this is an opportunity zone. I think that, if you really do believe that the bull run is over, just like he's saying here, then this is basically the first of many crashes that we will see going forward. So this would be the start of the bear market. This would be the start of us actually selling off much deeper. And, this would be, basically the starting line for that. But outside of this, fear and greed down to 29 fearful levels. First time that we've seen these lows since going back to roughly, September. I would argue that we are now in that point of the market where most of the sentiment is dead. It has been dead for the last roughly month or so now, but this is even worse. We are basically at depressive levels, in my opinion. So, you can kind of take that however you want. But, billions of dollars are being wiped out of this market. In just the last 24 hours, $110 billion was wiped out. And liquidations were pretty significant, up to about 819 million. 287,000 plus traders were liquidated. And these levels were definitely, pretty rough for Bitcoin to hit. Now, a lot of people are asking, like, what's next? What's going to be the next move for Bitcoin? There's been a lot of calls for Bitcoin to go down to like $70,000 to $60,000. And, again, you have those peak bearish, accounts that are saying like, all right, well, that's it. It's done. Now, number one, I want to say something, which is Microstrategy. Focus on when Microstrategy buys Bitcoin, because they recently just bought, this is before the crash, by the way, they bought at $97,500. And if we actually look at their list of buys, I don't really believe that there's any strategy behind MicroStrategy in terms of them actually buying, because, when we look at the Bitcoin chart, this is what the Bitcoin chart looks like. Now, again, I do have this also on the daily. This is what the daily looks like. Now, I'll talk about this in a second. But all of these arrows, all of these red arrows are when MicroStrategy actually buys Bitcoin. Now, we can go all the way back to September, which, again, they are in major profit from their September buys. But when we look at this, are they in any profit here? I mean, they're in profit on basically just one purchase since going back to November, which is crazy. Now, I've said many times over that every single time that MicroStrategy does buy, it typically means that we are going to see a dump or, we hit a local top. I do believe that this is also just the signal of that dump. So far on the daily, we did close above this this candle body here. So we're doing pretty good in terms of that liquidity level going back to February 3rd. So we are closing here. This might be the level in which we do start to kind of build a little bit of a floor. But I'm very cautious here. And the reason why I'm very cautious here is because we already wicked below this liquidity wick, which means that we did put in a lower low going off of the February 3rd candle. Now we haven't hit a lower low going off of the January 13th candle, or I should say wick. But I am still focused on this. And the reason why is because of the next level on the daily, which is the fair value gap down here. This is 81.4K to about 85 point almost 2K. This level, if we do hit it from our current level on Bitcoin, this would be another 7.6 to roughly 11.5% drop. The total drop from the time that this dump actually started, which was back in roughly the end of January, this would be a 25.47% drop or a 22% drop if we just hit the top of this wick. Now, is that a massive drop? Not exactly, because again, this is one, very painful to watch because it's over roughly a month and a half time frame. But if we go back to March of 2024, and I bring this up quite often because I want you guys to understand that the pain that we're seeing right now is absolutely nothing compared to what we've seen in the past. The only issue on why this is hurting so much more is because of how high dominance is while Bitcoin is having these spikes to the downside. But this was a 33.44% drop. And back in 2021, we have, watched the market sell off even deeper in the middle of a bull run, mind you, where we do have these significant drops to the downside. I remember this drop, 30.93%. Then this drop up here as well. This was about 26.39%. Also, outside of that, we've had little spikes in between, which are like 20% drops. This one as well, which was like a 27, 28% drop. Then we had, of course, the summer drop, which was like over 50%. This was like 53% before that last major move to the upside. That did lead us into, of course, the bear market. Now, before that top, though, we did also sell off another, 25.2% or so. So these moves in this market are completely normal. I mean, technically speaking, if we think about what causes upside potential to actually happen, we need to sweep liquidity. Liquidity provides us that, push to the upside that we need. And there's no liquidity if we don't actually sweep those lows and sweep the leveraged traders. It sucks to, say the least, because this does affect hundreds of thousands of traders. But the problem here is that you shouldn't be, trading leverage if you don't know how to actually, trade in general. So as we do really look at this, it's just a liquidity sweep right now. Focus on the low from January 13th, though. If we lose this, like I said, this level down here is the focus. So far, we are maintaining this. We did lose the trend. We also lost the trend on the total, and we also lost the trend on the total 3. This is the altcoin market, by the way. Next level here, in my opinion, would be around $788.85 billion. That should be our low on this chart if we are going off of, just fib retracement levels. And it would allow us to still maintain a higher low going off of the February 3rd weekly candle. In terms of the actual total, again, we should be around the bottom on the total. I would be surprised if we weren't. We did lose the trend as well. Still at a higher low scenario. Still in also the weekly fair value gap going all the way back to like November 4th and also like the November 18th candle bodies here. So, so far, nothing really changed too much. We definitely lost a trend, which is a concerning signal. So just be concerned here, be cautious. And the number one thing that I can say to really kind of make it through these types of moves is just don't be over leveraged in terms of your actual spot positions. So if you have money that's in this market that you're concerned about, it keeps you up at night, you're probably over invested, right? So don't overinvest. Make sure that you have stable coins on the sidelines at all times. I've always said, right? Like you could keep 15% of the portfolio in stablecoins. It's not a big problem. A lot of people scold me for saying that, but having those stablecoins on the sidelines allows you to not only, wait for the perfect opportunity in the space where there is blood, but also allows you to have those stablecoins regardless of what the market does. That's also why I've said, like, take profits on the upside, swings, because XRP has been doing tremendously well. You should have already have had your initial investment out if you were investing during the bear market, because XRP did over a 10x plus gain. So you should have also taken some profits as well, and those profits should be on the sidelines. You should be golden in terms of those profits, and if you wanted to reinvest them, you could. But I always say, like, once you take profits, keep those profits on the sidelines. You don't really have to reinvest if you don't need to. Right now, I'm just sitting still. I'm not too concerned. I do think that this is, manipulation of the markets. I definitely think that there's a lot of sell pressure. There's been a lot of speculation on what these exchanges are doing. Are they creating, sell pressure to, create a dump in the market so that the institutions and Wall Street could buy? I think a lot of that is kind of blown out of proportion, but I definitely do think that there is manipulation of these markets happening right now. And I do think that this is one big shakeout event. I still think that we are in a bull market, but it's definitely not an exciting time to be in crypto. Let's just be honest here. The market does suck, and I always keep it real with you guys. It does. It's horrible. The portfolio, like I said, I haven't even looked at it because I do know that it is in a rough territory. But with that being said, I do think that the rest of this year should be pretty bullish. We'll definitely have up and down swings in the market during that time. That's just typical price action. Sell-offs do happen. Capitulation events do happen. Liquidation events do happen as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely would like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.